Thank you for joining me for another episode of Taste of Magic. This episode I'm doing a Planeswalker profile on Garruk Wildspeaker. Garruk was born on an unnamed plane to a farmer and also a green mage. And on Garruk's 10th birthday, his dad is teaching him how to grow seeds. So he's like, "Hey, we just planted all these seeds. Let's grow them. Let's do it together, son." And so they grow the seeds out of the ground. And, they're like 2-inch sprouts, and they're like, "Yay! Green magic is fun." Then the next thing you know, the sheriff shows up, and the sheriff is like, "Hey, I see you got a 10-year-old boy there, and he needs to join the army." And Garrick's dad just flips out. He is like, "No, my son's not joining your corrupt army. Like, this is not right. Blah, blah, blah." And the sheriff is like, "We don't care. We're taking him anyway." So Garrick's dad is like, "Garruk, run to the forest. It's your only hope." So Garruk runs to the forest, and they take his dad captive. Garruk grows up in the forest. Now he lives there for 7 years. He and befriends Balos and worms. And so 7 years later, he comes back into town. He's 17 now, and he calls out the sheriff, Wild West style, like, "You killed my dad. Prepare to die." And the sheriff comes out and is like, "Oh, we didn't kill your dad. Come down to the dungeon. I'll show you." So they go down to the dungeon, and he lied. His dad's dead. So Garruk freaks out, kills the sheriff with one of his beasts, takes the sheriff's helmet, and that becomes his new helmet. So all the helmet that you see in all of Garrick's pictures, that's from the sheriff that killed his dad. So fast forward, Garruk finds himself on Chandalar. He's been living there for an undisclosed amount of time. And he's walking along, and he sees that one of his beasts is dead. And he is disconcerted by this, so he follows the trail and finds a couple more beasts dead. And he finds Liliana Vess. And Liliana is like, "Hey, how's it going? I just killed your guys." And Garruk is like, "Hey, I don't like that." So they fight, and Liliana leaves. And then Liliana gets the chain veil, and Garruk chases her down again, and he's like, "Hey, I need to kill you." And Liliana's like, "Ha, you're stupid. I'm gonna curse you." So she curses him with the chain veil, and Garruk is just down for the count. Like, this is a powerful artifact we're talking about, and Garruk is just knocked out. Liliana's gone. A couple hours later, Garruk wakes up, and he is like, "What the hell just happened to me? I am cursed." Like, his blood is purple, his skin is all dark, and he's like, he just feels bad. He summons a beast, and the beast is cursed too, and he does not like what's going on here. So all of a sudden he realizes, "Oh, I know who that was. That was Liliana. I don't know why I didn't mention this before, but apparently I know who that was. And not only that, I know Jace Balaran. He's a good buddy of mine, and I'm going to chase him down, and I'm going to say, 'Hey, where's your girlfriend at?'" I don't know. So, so Garruk decides he's going to go to Ravnica to chase down Jace. And apparently he does not like Ravnica. The Green Planeswalkers do not like Ravnica. Nisa Ravine apparently went to Ravnica one time on one of her first planeswalks and just is like, "I'm never planeswalking again because I hate that place so much." So, like, Green Planeswalkers do not like Ravnica. So Garruk goes to Ravnica, chases down Jace, and Jace is like, "Hey, how can I help you? Like, I don't really want to help you, but since you busted down my door, I might as well." And Garrick's like, "Oh, I'll kill you unless you tell me where Liliana is." Jace is like, "I don't know where Liliana is." And Garrick's like, I'm gonna kill you." And so Jace is like, "Oh, well, I think she went over to blah blah." And he's like, "Oh, blah blah, I know where that is. Okay, I'll go over there." So Garrick's walking out the door, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, Jace, that map you're looking at, it's to Zendikar." This is right before Zendikar block. So Garruk leaves, and he goes to Plain Blah Blah. And Plain Blah Blah is not where Liliana is. So this sets Garruk back a little while. The next time we see Garruk, he he is tracking, or he's working for a Gorgon, and he's trying to get information out of her about Liliana. So he tracks down this warlord that the Gorgon wants dead, I guess, and takes him there. And the Gorgon's like, haha, I'm not going to actually tell you where Liliana is, and I can just look at you and turn you to stone if you don't like it. So Garruk's like, fine, I'll just leave. And he overhears the Gorgon talking, and the Gorgon mentions the name Kothafed. And Kothafed is one of the demons that Liliana sold her soul to, and she also killed him after she got the chain veil. And Garruk, being the master tracker that he is, apparently just from the name Kothafed, manages to figure out that Liliana is going to Innistrad. Bear in mind that Kothafed is not from Innistrad. Gristlebrand is on Innistrad, which is why Liliana went there. So, and maybe Garruk figured out, like, oh, she's killing the demons that she sold her soul to. And even assuming that he managed to find out, like, the demons, only one of the 4 demons is on Innistrad. So he really had a 1 in 3 shot of figuring out where she was. So apparently he's just really lucky. I don't know. So he goes to Innistrad, tracks down Liliana. He's like, Liliana, take this curse off me. Liliana's like, I could do that, or I could send tons of zombies at you. Zombies! So Garruk is like, oh god, zombies. So he fights him off. And he's in pretty bad shape at this point from the curse. He's had the curse for a while, and it's doing some damage to him. And he manages to fight him off, but by the time he fights him off, Liliana is gone. So at this point, the curse is just done so much damage to him. He is crazy. Like, he's not in his right mind anymore. He's wandering around the swamp screaming at himself, like screaming at voices in his head. He doesn't know what's going on. Meanwhile, on the other side of Innistrad, Avacyn has come back. Avacyn is going through and she's fighting off the threats to humanity. You know, she's going off in alphabetical order. Demons, devils, ghosts, she's got the undead, vampires, and she's like, oh, W, werewolves. Okay, so she goes after the werewolves. Werewolves gather together and like, hey, Avacyn, you know, we're not so big on being killed by you. Can you just, like, take this lycanthropy away from us? And Avacyn's like, no, I can't do that. And she's like, oh, but by the way, I can do this thing that I never mentioned before, which is I'll just combine your human and your wolf side together, and you won't be really cursed anymore. And they're like, oh, well, thanks for never mentioning this before, but we'll sign up for that. So Avacyn does it, and it's this spell called the Curse Mute, and it mutes the curses. And so it heals all the werewolves. They become wolf people now. And meanwhile, on the other side of the plane, Garruk gets hit by the Curse Mute, and apparently it puts him back in his right mind. So he's like, alright, I'm kind of feeling better. I still really don't feel very good. I'm about to die, I think. So he decides, alright, well, Liliana went this way, I think, but this Curse Mute thing is coming from this direction. I'm going to go that way. So he goes that way. Fast forward a month, Audric, you know, the guy from M13, he is the captain of the guard, and he is like, alright, you know, picking up the pieces of Innistrad, like, everything has gone to hell, but things are getting better, Avacyn's back, supposedly the werewolves are gone. This guy busts into his office and is like, oh my god, we have a sighting of a werewolf. Audric's like, alright, get my sword, I'm going out. So he goes out, and they track him down, and it turns out it's not a werewolf, it's Garruk. And they're like, holy crap, it looks like a werewolf. Like, he's like tangled mess, and like there's fur on him, and he's just dirty, and they're like, oh god, it's a werewolf. And then someone's like, no, it's not a werewolf, he's got an axe. Holy crap. And so they capture him, and Audric's like, alright, this guy just needs to die. And his second in command is like, no, you know, this is a new age for Innistrad. Like, Avacyn's going to make everything better. So Audric's like, alright, fine, you know, just thunk him on the back of the head, knock him out, and we'll take him to Avacyn and we'll see what happens. So this is the last time we saw Garruk. We don't know what's going to happen to him after that. So I hope you enjoyed my rendition of what happened to Garruk.